Warrior of Zera is a 4-star Earth warrior sporting mediocre stats. His description reads, a wandering warrior who seeks a sanctuary where he can gain the power of the Archlords. The sanctuary this warrior seeks is none other than the heaven-like utopia, Sanctuary in the Sky. To escape temptation of evil fiends, he fights solo day by day. His name, Zera, is actually Hebrew for seed. It can potentially mean beginnings according to some sources, which is very fitting because this card gives birth to that of many different stories. In the first timeline, realizing how long it would take to get the power that he wanted from the sanctuary, Zera decided to take a bit of a shortcut. He willingly accepted a dark offer as seen in Zera Ritual. He knew there would be consequences, but at this point, he did not care. So, teaming up with a fiend of similar strength to him, they combined to form a terrifying monster. But who was this fiend that he met? Well, you might remember this guy from as early as the starter Kaiba deck. Ryukushin Powered was once a gargoyle-like creature with a somewhat humanoid form, and probably like someone in your crew, he was also a part-time clown. Ryukushin Powered's description states that his dragon-like form and increased strength can be attributed to the power of darkness. He tells Warrior of Zera, who is also on a quest for power, that if he gives in to the darkness just like he did, he too can become very powerful. Warrior of Zera accepts the deal, and Zera the Mant was born. If you look a little closely, this new creature has the same body structure and pose as Ryukushin Powered, but with the color and details of Zera's sword. Also note that even though the rituals technically don't need these exact two monsters, their levels perfectly sum up of Zera the Mant. So, Zera ended up getting the power he wanted, but at the cost of becoming a mindless monster, losing his humanity. Most sadly, he broke his own rule to never team up or be tempted by a fiend. In a second timeline, Zera doesn't immediately fall prey to the lure of darkness. Rather, he makes a real effort to find the Sanctuary in the Sky. As he's wandering and avoiding temptation of Ryukushin Powered, he sees a civilized place far off in the distance, thinking it could be the Sanctuary. But when he gets there and the clouds turn dark, he realizes that this isn't it. The place he stumbled upon is not actually the Sanctuary, but Pandemonium. Zera was looking for the Archlords, but he found the Archfiends instead. "You're looking to gain the power of the Archlords," they asked him. "Why go all the way there when you're already here? We can give you as much power as you want," as they were trying to tempt him. Zera thinks about their offer for a while, and ultimately, just for the sake of convenience, he accepts, and so he becomes an Archfiend himself. The Archfiends are happy that they are successful recruiting another warrior that seemed to have some potential in him, and Zera fully sees the opportunity. Quickly rising in ranks and strength, he becomes a general of Archfiends and eventually receives the power that he was promised, making a name for himself amongst all of Pandemonium. He was named Mazera Devil. Ma meaning evil, Zera and Devil a wordplay on devil. This ending is a small step up from becoming a frothing monster, but the problem still stands, that Zera sacrificed his morals for a shortcut to power. So in this alternate path, Zera diligently journeys towards the sky. He keeps his tradition of fighting solo and doesn't give in to any temptations. Finally, it all pays off when he successfully reaches the Sanctuary in the Sky and becomes known as Zeradius, the Herald of Heaven. Zeradius and Sanctuary are parallel to Archfiend General and Pandemonium, same stats and similar effects. So when the time is right, Zeradius is promoted to an Archlord, Archlord Zerato, where he finally receives the power that he was looking for. Finally a happy ending, right? Well, he accomplished his goals, he got to the Sanctuary, and he got his power. But here's the thing. Despite resisting temptation all up to this point, Zerato becomes corrupted by the power of the Archlords and uses it not to help the Sanctuary, but to betray it. "I already have the power I wanted," he thought. "I don't need to serve this Sanctuary in the Sky anymore." So he goes from Archlord Zerato to Dark Lord Zerato. The shining Sanctuary in the Sky is seen in Archlord's background, but ominously in the Dark Lord Zerato's background, the Sanctuary seems to have fallen into ruins by Zerato's hand. Almost every timeline when someone is greedy for power, they are corrupted in the process of getting it or after they've gotten it. Let's look at the last alternate timeline. Rewind to when the Warrior of Zera finds the Sanctuary and becomes Zeradius. This is when he realizes that perhaps the power of the Archlords isn't everything. He keenly realizes that although the power of the Archlords is available to him, it might be best not to take it, because if he did take it, he could become prideful, or worse yet, he could totally lose himself. After all, when you get too strong too quickly, that's often when you get corrupt. But that's not the only thing. You see, Zeradius ended up enjoying his role as a herald, which is basically another word for messenger. Zeradius had a deep epiphany. He noticed that when all his adventures were about becoming more powerful, he'd never feel satisfied. After getting more power, he still wanted more power. But working as a herald for the sanctuary was different. It wasn't as thrilling, but it was peaceful, and he found it more fulfilling than any power that he could have. So, he decided, let's stay on this path. Screw the power of the Archlords. After all, he is still slowly getting stronger, just not as fast as he would have liked. But sure enough, as time passes by, doing the work of justice allows Zeradius to transcend, becoming the Angel of Zera, where he becomes as powerful as he wanted to be, but learns a valuable lesson. That power doesn't matter if you lose who you are. Eternally serving the sanctuary, this is Zera's most dignified and fulfilling alternate ending.